Yo, you guys hear me? Gotta let me know if it's too loud. Oh, there is a way to pop out TikTok chat. Cool. New to TikTok. Alright. This is gonna be quick, probably. But right now, I really want to talk about Pro League of Legends. LCS, LTA. At some point, probably on this channel, I'm just going to rant. Even if I'm ranting to nobody, because I just have to talk about it. I'm doing the LCS Fantasy. And I am developing the logo for my fantasy team. Now, I am gonna do this because, you know, I watch LCS pretty much every weekend. But I'm an LCS purist. I don't watch LCK. I don't watch CB LOL. LEC, I don't really watch except for Los Ratones. I will watch their match occasionally. And maybe I'll watch some G2. Maybe some MCOY. Maybe. But LCS, I pretty much watch every game. I was a big FlyQuest fan last season in the LTA, and the LTA is really, I started watching probably the end of 2020. I think I watched 2024 Worlds. FlyQuest really piqued my interest. I didn't watch any league before that. I didn't even know who FlyQuest was when they got to 2024 Worlds. They got to quarterfinals, I think, but it was a big deal because NA never gets far in anything. And so that was my jumping on point. I suck at League playing it. My highest rank I've gotten is like Iron 4 as an ADC. And I play Jinx only. I've probably played a lot more hours of ARAM. I probably played more ARAM than anything else on League of Legends. But I do like watching competitive League. And so that's what got me interested in FlyQuest, and I always thought League was like the esport that is the esport of esports in my mind. Because I was a Call of Duty guy. I watched competitive Call of Duty, and then, then I started watching competitive Halo, and I've watched competitive Overwatch. Everything I get into competitive everything. Doesn't kind of matter what it is. If I'm like into the game, I will always find the competitive scene for that game. Because I just like people who are good. Like, I just think it's cool to be so good at something. Okay. Anyways, this song I gotta change, dude. This is weird. All right, fine. Where was I? FlyQuest. End of Worlds. They got quarterfinals, big deal. So I was like, oh, cool. And so that always just stuck in my mind. LTA starts. And then what pulled me into LTA was the fact that it was now combined LTA North and LTA South. And I know people on the scene hate that. They hate it. Hated it for whatever reason. But that's what got me interested. Because I thought it was cool that now that there was like this like rivalry, I guess, kind of between North and South. And I think people give South America not enough credits, to be honest with you. And so, I don't know. I don't know why I thought that, but I did. But I don't know anything about League. But that's what got me in. And let me think. So, yeah, I thought that was cool. They always play against each other, you know. And then it also gave the chance of, like, LTA North, LTA South. Like, now they compete. I mean, I don't know. At least LTA South gets one spot in Worlds. Like, we want them to participate. But there is an opportunity for them to earn more spots. I think that's how it worked. I don't exactly remember the format, but that's how I remember the format in my head. And anyways, I thought it gave at least the LTA South a chance to compete against others. Like, we're always talking about how LTA North can never compete with Korea because we don't get to practice against Koreans. And then at the same time, we're letting LTA South... Dude, this music cannot stop when I'm talking. If it's too loud, someone has to let me know. So... Where was I at? I gotta just actually find a playlist, otherwise it's just gonna keep stopping. Okay. Let me think. Anyways, I liked the LTA South being more involved. I feel like what happened to them, it sucks. And I think it was stupid, because obviously, when we looked at the end of this, I think I jumped in probably like in Season 3 of the LTA. Maybe in Season 2. I feel like I watched Season 1, I'm just forgetting about it because it was so long ago, but like, I don't know, they talk about what happened in Season 1, and I'm like, dude, I don't really remember this the same way. But for me, if I jumped in at Season 3, which is possible, like, I could just be, like, thinking I saw that beginning and I didn't, just because that's how involved I got, or whatever. But FlyQuest was always super dominant. And remember, I'm like, this is my FlyQuest team. This is how NA actually made a name for themselves at Worlds. This was a big deal. And so, obviously, I am a big FlyQuest fan. I really want them to be successful in NA. And my ambition for them was for them to be the best team in the league. And if they were not, because they had to prove that they were so much better than their own league for us to think they have a shot at doing something at Worlds. And so that is the emotion I'm riding on. Is that FlyQuest is going to be the team that wins Worlds in 2025. And I was like, I want to be part of that. But they had to prove it in the regular season. Because, and then they did. They did prove it. That they were really that much better. 80-something% win rate. That's how like nerdy I got with this stuff. Was like, I'm looking at percentages at the, and not that I'm looking at stats online. To be honest with you, I just listen to podcasts, and there's this one stats guy on YouTube who posts like, I mean, dude, he nerds out on it, but it is the best, most analytical analysis of the game. Like, it's something that you can't do on broadcast, I don't think. It's just like it doesn't punch enough, but it is so detailed and so well thought out what he has to say. But he's just like a small YouTuber. Anyway, so I'm watching him, or I found him later on, like, when Worlds was happening, I found him, because I was like, okay, FlyQuest has made it to Worlds. We have had the best season that NA has ever had, ever. To me. I don't know if that's factually true, but for me, it was true. This team is the best team that has ever, strictly based on win rate, was the best team that NA has ever seen. I don't know if that is true. There might have been something in 2001 or whatever, but 2010, 11, 12, 13, like it could have been, I don't know, but it doesn't matter. That is how I think of it. I wasn't looking up what was the best team back then, or all I knew is that this team and the few past 2 years or whatever was like the greatest that's ever been. Just based on stats and how far they went in Worlds. And then we start seeing interviews, and this is where I got a boner for Inspired. We started seeing interviews with Inspired, like his interviews, and I hope he never sees this because I don't want it to get in his head or anything, but his interviews are chef's kiss, the best interviews ever, because they are honest and they feel honest and genuine. That's what I really like about his interviews. And it's like he's trying to give a real answer. That's more, I think, what it is. Like, he tries to give a real answer. And I don't think he's flaming. And like everyone, and it became somewhat of a meme. Even though he's had many more interviews that are both just as good. But that one in particular was very good because they had just won. But he's still, quote unquote, flaming. I don't think he was flaming. He wasn't flaming. He was just being honest in an interview. So, anyways, I love Inspired, but I hope he never sees this, and I hope no one ever shows it to him, because I don't want him to think, just do your interviews the way you do them, dude. I don't know. The whole team was so good, but in particular, Inspired. But Inspired wasn't the only one. Bwipo. Best top laner. Okay, maybe I'm getting too off track to what the whole point of this talk was. I'm gonna stop glazing FlyQuest for a little bit and get back to where we were. The old FlyQuest. I got nothing against the new FlyQuest. They're fine. But they aren't the team that I came in on. And like, speaking of like what team is my favorite team, I guess circling back, I'm doing the LTA Fantasy League this season. I'm gonna watch again. because there's some. I think that I'm still interested. I'm still interested in NA. Obviously, very disappointing way how it went last season. Very disappointing. It was so good up until the end. In my opinion. Anyways, we're doing the fantasy league. Should I just keep glazing FlyQuest, dude? Like, I just have so much to say. God, dude, I'm actually cold as shit in my room right now. It's cold as shit in here. Okay. I might need to go grab like a hoodie or something. Where was I? LTA. Anyways, FlyQuest was good in season 3, good in season 4. I liked the way they played the game. I really liked how they played the game. Like, I don't know. Oh, I was talking about what interviews, just like my interviews and stuff the things I watch. Anyways, I watched just like that stats guy. Oh my god, that was probably forever ago now. I watched the Dive podcast. Right, what I was talking about is like I don't go look up stats myself online. I mean, I did a little bit during Worlds, but during the season, I'm not on like the different stats pages and stuff, but I do listen to a stats guy whenever he talks about the LCS, which is like feels like he never talks about it. But what he does, I do. I watched The Dive on the LCS channel, which honestly, excellent content. So good. Such a good podcast for the scene. I like my recommendation to them as a businessman is they need to make a paid Patreon for extended episodes. Like, do what you're doing now. Get an extra, even 30 minutes, an extra 30 minutes to an hour's worth of content that is behind a paywall. I know that's probably a bad take to take, but as a businessman, that's what I'd be saying to them. Because, I don't know, me as a fan, as an older fan with money to spend, I would pay for that. But that's just me. Anyways, the Dive podcast is excellent. And then I've recently been watching the JLXP podcast. Don't remember what it stands for, but like Jat Leesman Experience, I think is what it stands for. I think he's Jat on broadcast. His podcasts are pretty good too. He also does one with, I think his name's Velios. He's an LEC broadcaster. They recently started doing it, and I kind of recently just started watching it because say what you want about Los Ratones joining the LEC. I do want to watch what they do. I don't even watch any of those streamers. I do not watch them at all. I don't really know even what those streamers' content is. Like Baus. I know of Baus, really. That's all I really know of. I know like the other names exist, but Baus is the one that I kind of remember. And how he's like the Messi of League, or he basically just plays like odd champs and makes good getaways. You know, he plays it on the edge. So you're expecting an entertaining watch. And that's another aspect of pro play that is, I don't know. Being interesting to watch is good. Whippo. But I don't think it's the only thing. I think players need to play how they play. I think players need to play to win and not to... It needs to be natural. It has to be something organic. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Shit, where was I? Anyways, I watched that content. I can be heard, right? I had a notification saying my microphone is muted, maybe? God, I hope not. I hope not. Anyways, yeah, players need to be just, you know, play to their best of their ability. All that being said, I'm doing LTA Fantasy this year. So I didn't really play it last year. I wanted to, but I don't know. I didn't quite understand it, and we'll see if I even understand it this year, to be honest. And I'm actually getting in at the very beginning this time, which I may or may not have last season. So I'm picking my colors and my logo, and I wanted to show you what this cool thing I'm doing, where I'm using the Adobe Color Picker to analyze the hexadecimal of my background color so that I can find a good, like, compatible accent color. So no matter how this turns out, no one can say shit about if my symbol looks bad or not. Actually, scientifically, they have to say how amazing the logo is. That's called min-maxing. If you didn't know. I think. Maybe not. So my main color, I think I want it to be like this purple bat thing. This isn't bad. If we do something like that, I was thinking some sort of like devil vibe. See, like the horns. I don't know. I feel like this bat thing, because, you know, the name's like Shady. I'm shady. I'm shady. I'm dark. So they don't have black, which is what... Oh, wait, they do. They do have black. Oh my gosh, dude. I've been thinking this whole time they didn't have black. I just couldn't see it because I have dark mode. Okay. Look at that! Look at that, dude. We're tech wizards over here. We're tech wizards. Say what you want. I bet 99% of you watching this couldn't do what I just did right there. Okay. So, where were we? Let's get this back over here. So, if my background... Okay. So, this changes the whole game. So, now we take the hexadecimal, and we can grab this as our base color. So, now, when we choose, like, analogous, it gives us all black. Okay, hold on. And if we choose monochromatic, it gives us the color red. Or something. Like, because maybe that's not a pure black. No, it is. It's 0, 0, 0. Does this make sense? Okay. So black, if I'm going to do the color harmony of triad, these are the colors I'd use. Now, is there anything similar to what's over here? If our background is black. Our background, I think, has to be black. So, like, maybe this, like, this color here kind of looks similar to 552828. It's not the worst. It honestly, though, not the worst. I mean, it's science, honestly. It's science. What should our inner logo be? Maybe that? Yo, who has the plug to the science behind shapes? Who has the plug for the science behind shapes? Hold on. Let me open ChatGPT really quick. Hey there. What is the science behind shapes? Like, I'm looking at this logo. Hold on. This logo that I am making. And the... I want to keep the background black shape. What? Is there a website or general knowledge to understand about what would go well as the inner shape? Inner, what would we call it? Inner symbol of the black background shape. I want to keep the background black. Is there a website or general knowledge to understand what would go well as the inner symbol with black background shape? Anyone have any help here? What would go well as the inner symbol? According to like a technically proficient artist. More vertical line, more vertical, or more horizontal. That is an example, possibly. All right, let's see what we got. Ooh, good question. You're basically asking about shape language plus visual psychology. Hold on. Dang, dude. It's still going. Okay. What? Designers lean on a mix of perception psychology, gestalt theory, and visual balance. The outer shape sets expectations. The inner stone should reinforce or intentionally contrast those expectations. Okay. It reads like shield or crest. Symmetrical, vertical emphasis. Hold on. Let's see if let's see. Your black background shape reads like shield crest. Yes, I guess, yeah. Symmetrical, vertical emphasis, pointed bottom, heavy, solid, authoritative. That's true. Okay. That already communicates strength, protection, authority, tradition, possibly danger or power. Yeah. That's us. See, whatever goes inside needs to respect that. You hear that? Respect that. Vertical versus horizontal inside your specific shape. This is the key part you asked about. Well, it was an example, but okay. Your outer shape, taller than it is wide. Strong central axis, bottom point pulls the eye downward. Top cut creates visual weight at the crown. Yes, that's true. That's true. Bottom pulls... That's true. That's true. What works best inside? Vertical or stacked symbols? Oh! Okay, vertical or stacked? Central alignment. Okay. That's a guarantee. Up-down motion. Okay, what works worse? Long horizontal elements, wide symbols. So we don't want any... So this thing's something like this. See, here's the thing. I didn't like this. I don't like this. A pro designer asks, is the inner mark agreeing with the container or arguing with it? I guess that's true. You get it? Do you get it? It's because this dagger is pointing down. It's going down. And also the shield is also pointing down. Do you see that? That's why it's good. Okay. For your crest shape, agreement is the safer or more powerful choice. Okay. I don't like it. Just gestalt principles at play. Here are the big ones. Symmetry. Humans read symmetry as intentional, powerful, formal. This matters. Your shape is symmetrical. Ugh. Really? I don't like it. Maybe it's the color. Black background equals high contrast equal good, but avoid tiny details, avoid thin... See, avoid thin lines. This is thin. This is thin. This is too thin. The inner shape should read clearly at small sizes. Yeah. This doesn't agree. This doesn't agree. But I kind of like it more. Maybe this one? If it didn't have the point at the top. Maybe this one's... Is this too horizontal, chat? It might be too horizontal. Maybe this one. Maybe this one. I think I like this one. Let's see. This is number one right now. No, ooh, might be too horizontal. It's not bad. That's a number two. So we have 1 and 2. Oh. And then this one is probably 3. That one's probably 3. What do we think of this one? What do we think of this one? Poll? Open? Okay, on Twitch there's gonna be a poll. Symbol 1? Oh. Which symbol is most scientifically correct? One. This is Squidward nose. 2. This is number 2. I'm gonna put 2. I'm not saying Squidward knows. You guys just have to remember. It doesn't make sense. I don't know what to call this. 2 or 3. So this is 3. All right, so this is 3. This is 2. This is 2. And this is 1. This is 1, 2, 3. Two minutes might have been too long for this. All right. 3, 2, or 1. 3, 2, or 1. Tick-tock. 1, 2, or 3. Only on Twitch. Only on Twitch. Twitch.tv/ShadyNero. Only on Twitch. Only on Twitch. Twitch.tv/ShadyNero. Twitch.tv/ShadyNero. Oh, polls are almost close. So 3, 2, or 1? It looks like it was number 1. Everyone liked this one. All right. Cool. Cool. All right. We're done with that. We have our background, we have our symbol. Now we just have to think about color. Back to that. So complementary to black. So either have like this red color here. Not bad. Honestly, not bad. Do we have any... I mean, this green color, I think, kind of matches. That... What do we think of that? Not the worst in the world. Not the worst in the world. I think I still prefer... The green kind of sets like a very, like... It does set a very dark, like, evil-y vibe. Like... The red's a little softer on the eyes, though. Red's a little softer on the eyes. Okay. So we do something like that. That's complementary of each other. We could do split complementary. Or again, we're still looking at these green and red color. Square. We have a little blue in there. What do we think of that? I actually don't think I mind that. I think that's what we're doing. We did it. Thank you everyone for participating. So back to setting up our draft. Okay. I gotta change this music. This is a little too soft. I need something okay, this is fine. Okay. Okay, we gotta pick our roster now. Players are still listed to be selected for your team. Your team will not score points unless all players and coaches are selected. Alright, so for jungle... Inspired. I have hopes! Oh yeah, that leads me into my feelings for what is going on this season. So... We have, oh my gosh, back to my origin story. And it was a big FlyQuest fan. I was really upset when they separated. But, you know, now we have the new LCS season that everyone seems to be super amped up about, which I think is like, okay. Like, not that the season's going to be okay, but that the change from LTA to LCS. Anyways. I am picking. Here's who I'm invested in now. FlyQuest properly glazed, new season. Let's talk. Here's where I'm interested now. Obviously, I am still very much interested in Inspired. He was my favorite player. I know he was MVP. Maybe on bandwagon. I don't really care. Because you know my origin story now. So you know why I have to pick Inspired. Like, I just think he's great. So Inspired. That's why I think Lion's going to be good. Now they have Saint, which Saint was on Lion last year. Honestly, the Lion games last year are a blur. I never seriously ever considered them anything. I just thought it was weird when a player was named Lions on the team Lion, and I was like, what kind of weird stuff is going on here? But that's about it. But from what I remember about Saint and how everyone talks about him and kind of what I saw, like, he was a good individual player, but, you know, didn't have, I guess, the team synergy around him to really make it work. So Lion last year, how I think of them is they are somewhat pretty individualistic last year. Like, I don't even hardly remember everyone on that team, to be honest. I remember Saint. I remember Lions because of his name. Was Castle on that team or something? I don't know. The bottom tier teams last year, I just don't really remember. Let's pull up the team. Okay, so wait. Disguised. Oh, it's showing me the player. I want to see Lion. Okay, who was it? Okay, 2024. Okay. Okay, former. Okay. Audi. Oh, Surdy. Okay, I remember Surdy. Surdy was... I thought Surdy was good. Again, I think Lions was just kind of a very individualistic team. That's why it just never really worked out. I think they might not have had the right piece to really get it moving. I guess that's how I see them from last year. I mean, Surdy came late, and then when Surdy came, it did kind of get a little better, right? And at the very end, I think it got a little bit better. If I remember. Yeah, Surdy and Saints are the ones I remember the most. So, oh, Henna. I remember Henna. I remember Henna a little bit. Audio. I mean, I remember them all a little bit, but anyways, yeah, Saint was probably the best player. Maybe. I don't know. Anyways, but Saint very individualistic, so that was the big concern coming into this year. Inspired and Saint, are they gonna butt heads and they'll never be able to make it work? I envision this team differently. Not that won't be true or can't be true, but I think they maybe, I don't know, they're more like adults. I don't know, like they're just more, I don't know. I think they can operate on the same wavelength maybe a little bit. Maybe. I mean, because Inspired has always said to play for yourself. Oh my god, I talk like Inspired's Jesus. But anyways. But Inspired always said, when in his interviews and different things that I've seen, he would talk about how he envisions the game is you play selfishly, but as a team, was basically the core concept. And so I think it can work, because I think Saint probably sees the game in a similar way. That's how I think. I don't know. I'm not there. I have no idea. I don't know these players as people or anything. But that's how I see that dynamic in my mind. And then they have Berserker, who apparently is this big up-and-coming ADC. I'm just kind of going, I hope that's true. It seemed like it. They won against a Was it Dignitas? Or Disguise? I forget who they played already. Just recently. I'm talking about this team way too long. Dignitas. That's Palafox's team. Right, got it. I remember kind of now. Okay. It was a messy game. I'm not going to talk about that here. Maybe I'll talk about those games in another live stream, or maybe we'll get to it at some point. I don't know, but I don't want to talk about that right now. Who else is on that team? Dokla. They don't have their top lane. I think Dokla, honestly, good pickup. Good enough pickup for me, to be honest. I don't think Dokla is super flashy. I don't even think Dokla is necessarily the best player in the league. But I think he gets the job done. And really, on a team like this, that's kind of what's all you need. Maybe. You know, I don't know. Maybe he'll int and feed and, you know, I'll eat my words, but maybe 100 Thieves Dokla was just a legendary situation that ended up happening and it can't be replicated. But maybe not. I honestly think Dokla could be good for that team. It looked like Dokla had a pretty good mental effect on 100 Thieves. Just from a mental standpoint. Or maybe not, mental is not the right word, but a vibes standpoint. Like, he's a mature guy. He knows how to play the game. He's been in this. He's been doing this professionally, or at least at the highest level for a while. And just, I don't know, it's of benefit to him. Maybe I'm coping because I'm also old, but that's how I feel about him. But I got a soft spot for the oldies. But, come on. He was competitive. Like, again, he's not the flashiest, he's not the greatest, but he gets the job done. And I don't know anything about Zamudo, who's supposed to come in. But everyone they talk about coming in, every single one, it feels like they were really looked at really well in the rookie scene. Every single one, it feels like. They were all great. They were all awesome. But then when you watch the podcasts or like talk with the pros, I also watch that. Add that to the list of content that I consume regarding League. I have to pick a champion for him. Well, Xin Zhao, it seems like an easy pick. Xin Zhao or Pantheon, I feel like he loves those characters. He also likes Sejuani. Who are they playing against? Cloud9? I'm going to go Sejuani. I don't know what the meta is, but I remember he played Sejuani. That's what we did. Sejuani inspired. I'm sure that was an expensive pickup. I think it was the most expensive one I could have picked, but here we are. So talking about top lane. Anyways, I think Dokla's good. I'm done glazing line. I'm about to start speed and run this because I feel like I'm going way too much now. We'll go through each role and who I pick and why I'm picking them, I guess. or maybe talk about them because I'm probably who I hype up is probably, I mean, they're always very expensive, but that gets us into some interesting conversations later. Anyways, um, finish off with Lions. Who's their support? Isles was on Dignitas, I think, last year. Dignitas really didn't do much. I'm trying to think about Isles and what I remember. I do remember one interview when he did the pros interview that they do. I think it's on Tuesdays. They release it on the LCS. But talk with the pros, basically. He was on one of those, I remember, once. I think he fits well into what the composition of Lions so far. I think he fits well into the mindset of what Saint thinks about the game and what Inspired thinks about the game. I think he is on board with doing things that way. That's just the general vibe I picked up. I could be wrong, but that's just the general vibe I picked up from him. And he's also honest in interviews, which I really respect. He says that he has a lot to work to do as support, and it's crazy. It's like I never thought of him as a bad support. I thought he was passable. Like I thought he was good. I think he was good enough, at least. That's again, I don't know if I'm coping. I'm sure people are going to disagree with me, but I don't know. I feel like he was passable. I think he was good enough, and who knows what he can. What maybe he gets something unlocks if he's surrounded with in a different environment now with a different team. Like things can unlock, and I'll be curious to see how he does now that he's playing with Saint Inspired. And then there's Berserker, who's a mystery man to me. I couldn't tell you. He's super hyped. He seemed good against Dignitas. We'll really see how well he does against Cloud9. I think that's the real test. So that'll be fun. Okay. Anyways. Top lane. I could go on and on all day. Top lane. Obviously, dude, they got Gatgos at the very top. I think Gatgos is quite good. I remember the few games that he played last season when Bwipo was a starter. I think it was clear that Bwipo was the better player, but it was also that, Bwipo has been in that team for 2 years at that point, or a year and a half, or whatever. Already a year. Bwipo is very much a good player on his own already, but he's already chemistrized with the team, with everybody. So Gatgos didn't really have a chance, I think, of ever taking that starting spot. I don't think he ever had a chance, but it's fun that they let him play, and there's another reason why I loved FlyQuest so much. That's why I think Bwipo is a great player, but Bwipo talk is for another day. Okay. Top lane. Who do I pick? So Impact on Sentinel. Sentinel's lost to Disguised. That's a stinger. If I'm them, it's a little bit of a stinger because most of that team, I think, were Disguised before. And then Sentinels bought them, or whatever it was, from Disguised. So you'd think, oh, now Disguised kind of gets a little bit screwed by that. So Disguised picks up new players, and then they beat those ones that were paid for by Sentinels. But I don't know. That could be not what happened at all. Very much could be the case as well. Anyways, I gotta stop getting sidetracked. So, what do I think of Impact? People talk well of him. He's an older player. I think he's one of the few players older than me, which I respect. I love an old player. I love an old player. I think Impact potentially could be a breakout star this season. Potentially. I mean, I could see Impact performing well on Dignitas. Wait, on Sentinels. They're playing Dignitas. I could see him performing well on Sentinels and then getting picked up by another team whose top lane maybe isn't so strong. And Morgan's stock is also pretty low. And I shouldn't be saying these things. I don't want to be the type of channel that just like, I don't know. I don't want to spread rumors or anything. Even though nobody really watches these, I'm sure, but I don't know. Anyways, Gakos is great. I'm not going to do top lane yet because I don't know. Mid. Quid is a very high up there, but he didn't, he lost to the Cloud9. But, did he lose? How much are we, APA being down at 18.9 seems kind of good. I like the idea of APA. I mean, Palafox is down there. Darkwing Sentinels. Saint is also pretty cheap, dude, but I don't want to do a full Lion roster now. Bottom, Masu Sven at the top, FBI third, Sajid. Berserker's down here. Dude, I'm not gonna lie, guys, I'm pretty up on Lion. I mean, they're so cheap, and yet they have them down here. Like, how do I not be like, oh yeah? But Yon is way down here. Why is Yon so cheap? I think that's an easy pickup. I mean, Team Liquid lost, but I don't think it was because of their bot lane. That's not the vibe I got. Who is Yon gonna play? People seem to be playing a lot of Yunara. Okay. We have our bot lane. Let's look at supports. So, Lions? Why? He's really... I didn't expect him to be that expensive. Do we think that's reasonable? Is that reasonable for Lions to be that expensive? I mean, there's Core JJ. Seos. I like Seos. I do like Seos. How much money do I have left? 61, 20, 40. I have to pick a coach as well. I think the coach that I hear a lot about isn't even a head coach. He's Diamante. I say I hear a lot about, but I don't know. I have heard before that players really like him. Revan's way down there. Part of me wants to take Revan. Dude, everything about Lions makes me want to pick Lions, dude. I am so biased right now. I'm so biased. I'm so biased. I mean, dude, Lions looked a little prepped. I feel like they're only gonna get better. But again, they only play Dignitas. They only play Dignitas. Spawn is also kind of cheap. Dude, this is so hard. All right, top lane. Okay, I have some big buys I can make right now. Um, let's do Thanatos. Maybe Gnar. They played Aurora before, which was weird. I mean, I think Gnar is probably. I mean, if he went Aurora, they really don't mind using him to attack. All right, whatever. We're doing Gnar. I don't care. Don't care. I'm over it. Mid. I have 41. So I literally could be picking like the top people here. I'm picking APA, dude. I can't help myself. Anytime he plays a specific champion. No. Probably let's do Oriana. Oriana. Pick. All right, support. Support and then coach. I still have 22.8 left. I mean, I could ride or die with the Team Liquid bot lane. I could just ride or die with them. Does Core JJ play Bard? Nami is a 1.3. Okay, we'll do Braum. I don't know. Okay. Coach. Wait, remaining budget 6.3. I do. Okay, I don't have enough money. I'm poor. Okay, I'm poor. Okay, I'm keeping inspired. I think I'm keeping APA. I can get rid of Core JJ. I'm fine with. Dude. We're picking Seos for support. I'm okay with that. Sure, Nautilus. Jungle, I want inspired. And it's going to be Xin Zhao. Actually, no, I picked Sejuani. I want to use Sejuani. Bigger points, and I think he'll play it. Okay, I don't need Thanatos top lane. How much? 46.2. Ew, okay. I mean, Yan is really as cheap as I can get here, dude. Uh, let's go with Varus. Sure, why not? 31.7. Okay. Okay, we'll go. I'll pick Impact. I'm fine with Impact. Impact is great for me. Let's go. What would he play? I mean, everyone plays Gnar, dude. So, Gnar. Okay, 16.4. Okay. I can get Saint, Zinni, Darkwings, or Palafox. I guess we're taking Saint. And then who we want mid? What would he play mid? Ari, maybe. Annie. They have Lucian listed as a mid lane. Orianna seems like an obvious choice, I think. Okay, I think that we're doing. Impact Gnar, we already talked about why. Inspired, we already talked about why. Saint, we already kind of talked about why. Yan, I mean, it surprises me that he's so cheap because, I mean, didn't he win like the doubles ADC, like rank 1 challenge? I know it doesn't mean everything, but I don't know. He has the same support as he had last year. I thought he performed well against Cloud9. I thought he was okay. Like, I don't know. I thought he was good. Sales support. I think Sales could be a dark horse. I'm not against Seos. I think Seos has potential. So that's my team. I'm happy with it. Confirm. All right. We did it. Our team is ready for round 2. We built their emblem and logo. And we talked about how I got into League. So that means I wish I could do watch parties of these games. I really wish I could. And I still might, but it might be a thing where like I cover up the screen and show the time on there and it's super lame, but I don't know. Maybe. I like to usually watch it on TV and eat food. That's how I like to watch the LCS. So, I don't know. We'll see. I messaged in Discord if I could watch party it. And obviously I didn't get a response. So, maybe I'll get a response. I did it like 2 days ago. I don't know if it'll happen or not. I assume they would not let me stream it. But I'd like them to. So if they ever see this, please let me stream it. I don't need to be promoted or anything. I just honestly kind of would rather not. But I just do want to stream it though. Okay. So matches coming up. C9 and Lion. Banger match. This is my match of the week. Match of the weekend, whatever. This is really where we see Lion's potential. Like really what they can live up to. They beat Dignitas, but it wasn't as clean, I think, as a Lion fan would want. But as a FlyQuest fan in 2025 and a big Inspired fan, I think they did okay. I think I saw glimmers. I mean, I could see Inspired's touch on the game. The way they're playing reminds me of FlyQuest. of last season. It reminds me of it. I just think they have kinks to work out. They're such a new team together, and I think they have kinks to work out. See, I don't know. Do we think Dokla or Zamudo is going to play this weekend? I don't even know if it's been announced, but I don't think anyone knows. I think what I hope they do is bring them both on and kind of do like a substitute sort of situation. You know, if Zamudo seems genuinely like the better choice, great. But, you know, Dokla has some time to play on Dignitas. He's been practicing with them. It's hard to like let that go, especially if maybe Lion's feeling good. And they're like, we kind of, you know, things are going good with Dokla. But Zamudo is also going to need his shot. If we're being fair, Zamudo should get a chance to play on stage at least once, if not twice. So I hope to see them both play. And I hope they really test them out. I hope they don't base it solely on scrims. I hope they both get a chance to play in a game. Honestly, if they both played in the Cloud9 game, one in the first set, one in the second set, that would be awesome. And it would show to me that Lion has confidence. Especially if they can win map 1, I would really hope they do a swap for map 2. And not necessarily not care about winning. Obviously, you always want to win. But it's also thinking about the future of the team in doing that. And and to me, it exudes confidence. And I respect that. So then I hope Zamudo plays game 2. And then if it goes to a game 3, let the dominoes fall as they may. You'll probably put the guy who won the series or won the match, the first game, play. But, anyways, C9 Lion. I have high hopes for a banger. I wonder how well Berserker is being integrated in the team. I think this is also going to tell us a lot about C9 as a team. I think everyone's gone in with C9 touted with a lot of praise. I remember C9 differently last season. Obviously coming from a FlyQuest fan from last season and relatively new to the scene. But C9 to me, they were good, but they could just never do it. It was almost like I could, in my mind, I didn't expect Cloud9 to not go to the LTA, finals. It didn't shock me. It did not shock me that much. When it happened, I was like, yeah, they didn't throw me for a loop. To me, I feel like the broadcast and what I see online or wherever in different podcasts and stuff I watch, everyone made a big deal about it. But I don't know. It didn't register as big of a deal to me. I just kind of expected it. Shopify got in. Shopify was also kind of near and dear to my heart last season. FlyQuest number 1, but Shopify was probably in there at number 2 for me. I think their story was cool. I don't know. Something about them was cool. I don't know. Anyways, but I do think C9 are going to be leveled up this year. All that to say, I think C9 will be good this year. I think APA was a good piece to add. I'm trying to remember who their mid laner was last year. Someone help me out. Loki, right? Loki was their mid laner. And obviously Loki was good too. Loki was really good. Because, I don't know, I'm trying to think of everyone on Cloud9 right now. APA mid, Blabber jungle. Blabber's? Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to be a person who hates them. And not that I'm hating on anyone. Blabber had a rougher season, I think. I just think he had a rough season last season. And I don't know how much has changed yet. Maybe it's changed a lot. But I don't know. There were some weird moments with him, I feel like. There's some weird moments in game sometimes. But I'm not going to get into it. Sven Vulcan bot lane. Again, I think they're a passable bot lane. I don't think they're the best in the world, but I think they are technically sound. I think they know about the game. For what I hear, Sven is really into the game this year, at least, or seems like, or I don't know. I heard somewhere something about his head being like he's really a League of Legends nut now. I don't know. He really cares, I guess, is what I feel is the sentiment around him right now. And so I think that bot lane has a lot of potential. I think they have a lot of potential. And I think it'll be technically sound. Technically sound, but not, not going to be flashy, I don't think. But really, all you got to be is technically sound. So I don't know. And their team seems like they might have really good communication. Thanatos on top. Thanatos obviously was second best top in the league last year. A very technically sound player. I think Sven and Vulcan are going to be pretty technically sound this year. I think APA is a good creative and how do they say? He's a very creative and like superstar potential in my mind. Well, how do I call it? A playmaker. He seems like a playmaker. I guess a lot of mid lanes do. That's just the nature of the role, possibly. But APA does seem like a playmaker. I mean, when he's on his zigs, I thought it couldn't be real. They talked about APA on zigs and how APA, that's his main person or whatever. And I was like, sure, okay, like, yeah, whatever. Like, people talking about that's their main character and they're so good at it. But when APA played zigs, it was a noticeably different match for a Liquid team that sucked. A Team Liquid team that sucked, but give APA zigs, he hard carries in a pro match. And he did it multiple times. And I know they would lose, I think, against FlyQuest, but it wasn't because of APA that they lost. I'll tell you that much. APA was, when he had zigs, was great. So I'm excited to see if he ever gets zigged this year. Because he proved me wrong. Because, I just think it was a one-off thing, but then it kept happening. I was like, okay, cool. APA's that guy. So anyways, I think he's a playmaker, and in the right setting now, he's with very technically proficient players. It frees him up to be able to make plays, which I don't think he's really able to do on Team Liquid as much. And plus, he's also slightly older. He's a veteran. He has a good mind about the game, I think. He made a PowerPoint presentation, and I know people meme about it or whatever, but to me, mad respect. Mad respect. I take this shit seriously. I do. I do. And mad respect to that guy. I got to play music. Sorry, guys. Sure. Tell me if it's too loud. Tell me if it's too loud. Okay. So, where were we at? APA. And so anyways, Cloud9, I think, with a lot of technically proficient players, APA can really step up and do something. Dude, I've been going at this for almost an hour and a half. Oh well. And then Lion. I think I take C9 in this. But I think it'll be a game 3. And I think we're still going to see growth from Lion. It's possible they've improved a lot after adding Berserker into the final roster now. Again, we're working with Dokla and Zamudo. I don't know what's going to happen there, but Dokla's been around now. Maybe he's still been scrimming, and I think Dokla's passable. I don't know anything about Zamudo. I don't, so I can't really speak to it. I know Thanatos is technically sound, so putting Dokla against Thanatos would be a good test for Dokla. That I don't think anyone expects him to win that matchup, but if he does win, that's a plus for him. If he survives without costing, I think that's really the biggest plus. No one expects Dokla to be the superstar, but we do expect Dokla to perform, be consistent, and do what is necessary. He's not going to be the hero. That's how I view Dokla, and that's what I expect of Dokla. And basically, is he good enough mechanically to just survive, keep things even, not feed, and then be a team player? Because if Lions needs anything, maybe it's a team player, and maybe that's what Bwipo's strong suit was being a bit of a team player. And that's what I think it worked a little bit because of the individualism coming from Inspired and even Boostio. Like, I don't know, just the individualism aspect of how the game is viewed by what I think Lion and ultimately Inspired have promoted. Anyways, a team player could be helpful if they can understand, I don't know, the dynamic. Anyways, moving on. I take C9 2-1. But Lion could surprise. Lion, not surprise. I mean, if Lion won, I'd be maybe very cool. Because I pretty much ride on the team who I think can actually win Worlds. As much as everyone says it's a long shot, that's the team that I pick. That's the team I like. Usually. Not like, and I don't always like number 1 seed team. Like, you know, you just look at gameplay and I can think, oh yeah. I think FlyQuest last year was obviously I'm back on it. But anyways, FlyQuest last year I thought ultimately had to go. If they did not go to Worlds, that would have been, that would have been tragic, dude. So tragic. It was tragic what happened at Worlds, but if they didn't even go, that would have been tragic. But they did. So, all was right in the world. Then you had 100 Thieves, who I really liked going because obviously they were riding the wave. They just went up the mountain like that. Like, I was like, that's a team that's your dark horse team that wins on vibes alone. They literally win games because their vibe is so high. And so I love to have an NA dark horse team like that because those are where, they did. They beat BLG. Which, you know, a lot of teams beat BLG at Worlds this year. But doesn't take away from the fact that they did do it. They played with freedom. And I respected it so much. I loved it. And then it was the LTA South team, who I thought was the proper team to go, to be honest with you. They won. They got second place at LTA North, and people can bitch and moan all they want. But, they did deserve to go. Like, they did. Ultimately did. Like, people were like, oh, they get a guaranteed spot. Yeah, and then they also earned they also earned it at the same time. And then we went, I cannot get on this rant. I cannot. Okay. Sentinels Dignitas. Dignitas lost to Lion. Dignitas had hope in the game. I gotta remember who's on Dignitas. I know they have Palafox. Palafox was a surprise. I know what the sentiment is around him, guys. I do. But anyways. Okay.
Standards, that's the best thing. Hold your standards, that's the best thing. Go bar standards, that's the best thing. Hold your standards, that's the best thing. When we step through, that's gold. Anything we touch, it turns gold. Far too much, don't worry about nothing. Far too much, better let that go. Yeah, when we step through, touch road. Anything we touch, it turns gold. Far too much, the MC life, but far too much, better let that go.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. Photon top. Nothing stands out about him to me. XU. People are kind of talking about how XU he's better than what he's showing. Maybe. Palafox. I think if this team's going to win, it's going to be because of Palafox and FBI. I'll just leave it at that. But we'll see how it goes. And then there's what? Ignar. I don't know anything about him. And they're playing Sentinels who lost. Sentinels lost. That can't feel good. That cannot feel good. I mean, their team is weird, man. Well, not that it's weird, but Impact, Hamback, Darkwings, Rahel, and Hughie. I think if this team's going to win, Impact has to show up and show out. Kind of how I feel about it. Sentinels is backed into a corner. I'll admit. They're backed into a corner. I take Dignitas in this. Dignitas 2-1. On Sunday. FlyQuest and DSG. I'm taking FlyQuest. FlyQuest is 100 Thieves of last year to me. But better. I think Griffin has potential. People are really hyping him up. I've seen an interview with him. He seems like he's smart. They might force too much. I'm curious to see how they do well against Lions, really. And Cloud9. But a team like Disguised, I don't think Disguised is organized enough to handle the chaos of FlyQuest. That's how I feel about FlyQuest. They're just chaotic. A little bit. And then Shopify and Team Liquid. I mean, if Team Liquid doesn't win this one, it's not a great spot to be in. But Shopify is a little bit in the same belt. Who is on Team Liquid? Morgan, Jose Diodo. Jose, was he looked good. Quid didn't look as good. Jan Botley looked good. Core JJ seemed okay. I think I'm taking Shopify. I don't know. I'm taking Shopify. Shopify, or not Shopify, Team Liquid. I'm taking Team Liquid 2-1. Yep. That's what we're doing. Okay, I think I've ranted enough. This is what we're doing. I'm excited to watch these games. And I hope to see you guys again. Peacers.